recent bombshell discussion concerning astronomical events, John Moore reveals military knowledge of civilization-ending global event. And what exactly does he say? If we're wondering why governments of the world seem to be in such a hurry to roll along very strange events, with even with what's going with our pandemic, and one of the most shocking answers may be simpler than we think. Now, according to analyst radio host John Moore, who has many contacts with high-level U.S. Navy officers and scientists, he says a global extinction level event is perhaps why all this is going on. It could be approaching. Globalists are, of course, trying to bring up their agenda. And if 8+ billion people were told the truth about approaching cosmic events that could, of course, put our planet, well, we're talking about planet defense systems, and we don't have any. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Planet defense systems. And they would all stop, all these people would stop working, causing a near instant collapse of course, the entire global infrastructure and manufacturing, transportation, food production, government, military, and all so on would, of course, become chaos. So, are they still buying up loads of supplies such as food, electronics, communications gear, and everything else you can imagine? And they need the masses to keep on working until the very end. Otherwise, they cannot acquire these supplies. The supply chain, of course, would just stop and be blocked. Even as the globalists are now, they are hiding in areas which could even be remote islands, moving away from the coasts, even moving into underground bunkers and tunnel systems, or, of course, planning, from what some theories say, planning off-world events when all this comes down. The event that John Moore refers to is the 10th planet, or what we call, some call PlanetX, Nibiru, Nemesis, Wormwood, the 9th planet, something that approaches us every 3,600 years, according to the Sumerian tablets and according to ancient texts, things that seem to be coming at us from our binary star, and it could be a 10th planet flyby where a dark planetary mass, which we only see with infrared telescopes, passes near Earth's orbital plane around our sun. And we have some of these supposed diagrams showing us the orbit of Planet X, apogee and perigee. The gravitational effects alone, warned the former top Navy scientists, will cause cataclysmic Earth changes consisting of unprecedented Earth changes, volcanoes, earthquakes, even pole shifts that will reportedly reorient the physical polar axis of our planet, not just magnetic poles, thereby shifting equator and unleashing unimaginable ocean sloshes that inundate coastal areas. And this, of course, has happened many times in the past. Now, it may not have been, we don't know if it was a close planet coming at us, but we do have scars on our Earth from asteroid and comet impacts. Let's remember the last ice age was about 12,000 years ago. The Clovis culture and the mammoths became extinct at that point. Now, the coming events have been known since, from what Moore explains, from at least since 1979, and it seems governments of the world know of this and are keeping certain secrets from the public so that society does not run amok until the very last day before cataclysm arrives. So on that day, global winds, he says, will be sustained at 200 miles an hour for a full day, explains destroying nearly all human-built structures which are above ground. Only below ground structures and concrete and steel reinforced above ground structures stand a chance of surviving winds. Now, we know that, I live in Greece, so we know that our structures have a certain building code, and you can't have a 2-story or above building that does not have reinforced concrete columns and slabs. That's not the case, though, in North America with homes. Okay, homes are usually built very it's the same material Canada, United States. Usually they're built of wood, plasterboard. Your basement may be cast concrete. I don't know if it's reinforced or if it's grand concrete without, like a chicken mesh. But I know in Canada, where I used to live with my parents who were architects, it was not reinforced concrete. And the basements, of course, many a time would be flooded from the melting snow in the spring. Terrible. Anyway, so the houses in North America are basically wood, plywood, and if you have a brick outer facade in the front, most houses in the front. We had a house built in the 1950s, so our house was brick all around. But still, a stiff wind would not be good for the house. And the house, of course, has a wooden frame with tiles that are not ceramic tiles, but they're those very flappy tar tiles. All right. So obviously, buildings like that are not going to last in a very stiff wind. But basically, you have churches, hospitals, schools are supposed to last in a very big up to 7 magnitude earthquake. You can run to a church, hospital, school buildings are also for shelter. So when these Moore explains that when these things come, 200-mile winds for a full day, destroying human-built structures, depending on how your structure is built, and only below ground structures and concrete steel reinforced above ground structures can survive and have the chance of survival in these winds. And once you survive the winds, he says the next challenge will be surviving the collapse of human civilization. Of course, we can understand how all this goes. You probably don't have any communications, you don't have any electricity, no gas at the pumps, your car probably won't work. I know I have to change my battery on my car key because I can't get in my car otherwise. So, everything is totally electronic. So civilization can collapse and there will be no functioning of farms, power grids, internet, transportation, fuel refineries, even water, as we can understand. There may not even be enough people to decommission the hundreds of nuclear power plants that are scattered across the planet. And this, of course, raises a huge question about what happens if they lose cooling capacity and plunge into criticality. So you can imagine the chaos that would ensue. This is not a society that we had about 100, 150 years ago before electricity, where people had their own farms, their own water source. Some of them had tornado shelters underground. Totally different than what we were 150 years ago. I mean, the women used to know how to make soap. I know the women in Greece even knew how to make from their ash and oil from their fireplace ash. They knew how to make gunpowder. Can you imagine that? We don't even know how to make soap. Most of us don't even know how to make our own pizza dough, our own bread. I don't know. Well, okay, maybe, but it won't be that tasty. Anyway, so you can imagine how volatile humanity is in this day and age compared to what we were just 100, 150 years ago. So this is on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.